Are we live?
Yeah, we are. Hey, folks.
Hi.
I'm John Caspian, and we're joined here today by John Galvin and Mark. Let me make sure I'm pronouncing your last name right, Mark. Schubach.
Yeah, Schubach's right.
Yes.
I always say Schupelbach, so that's the proper way for us.
If it's close enough, I'll accept it. Like it has an umlaut in the German spelling, but it's the Schubach.
Yeah. Well, cool. Hey, everybody. Welcome to this Friday Rambles. We, as always, have a lot to talk about. This is a big week for both Games Workshop and Privateer Press. The Loyalists / Heretics Legion, the Dark Angels, finally get their release.
What are you talking about, Heretic?
It's 50-50, like down the middle, just like this delicious coffee hot chocolate.
Yeah.
Half hot chocolate, half coffee.
So then it's all good. So there's no heresy about it.
Well, we'll see about that.
We can always think.
Yeah. So Dark Angels come out. The proper release is tomorrow. John has done some studying on the spoilers and all of that, so he'll talk to you about the stratagems and such. And then with that, we have the Privateer Press release, which is the 12 Factions of Christmas. 13 models coming out for the first 12 factions for War Machine and Hordes, which is pretty awesome to see everyone getting at least one new thing.
Yeah.
With that, we also have other new releases like new Netrunner, new board games, new expansions, and we'll top it all off with the charity events that are going on this weekend. So we have a Toys for Tot charity starting today, running all the way through Sunday. So I will be talking about that towards the end of the stream. So stick around if you want to know about like prizes and such that you can get for participating in this awesome charity. John, so talk about Dark Angels.
You go. I'm trying to share this. My Facebook app's not letting me share to the various groups that we have. So if anyone gets a moment, all you have to do is press the share icon in the bottom. Wait, it's that way on the screen. The bottom left, and then you go share to group, and then just find the different groups, and you can share them, like Warhammer 40K, etc. So just share them, and we're all good. But for some reason, mine doesn't let me. You can see it right there. It's all blank. It's terrible. So Dark Angels. The big things that I've noticed from when I was watching the various things, I don't physically have access to the codex since I'm all the way up in Cincinnati, but the big things that I've noticed are various fluff-oriented stratagems and stuff like that. One of the big ones is taking, I guess, Space Wolves with your Dark Angels, because they have this sort of...
Wait, really?
Yeah, I thought that's something they were trying to avoid.
Yeah.
It's a sort of they're facing off against each other in a way. Like you can take them as allies, and then it's like one stratagem that you get to use with them. It's very kind of weird to me, and a lot of
is that like a narrative thing, or
yeah, I guess. Well, Space Wolves are known for having a competition. Like even the original scuffle between Lionel Johnson and Layman Russ was supposed to be like a practice.
Yeah, except Lionel Johnson.
It is. It's meant to be like, you know, they kind of, whenever they meet up to face anybody else, they kind of have an honorary duel between two people, I guess. And that was a weird one that people have noted in all of the various videos that I've watched on this. But the cool one is there's a one command point stratagem that allows you to basically mark a target, and it says this person or this unit or character knows the location of one of the fallen, and for this turn, you get to reroll hits against them, which is really huge if you target, say, Mortarion, and you're like, I want to take you down.
I mean, Mortarion is Fallens.
Yeah. Target a Carnifex. That Carnifex knows where the Fallen's at.
Yes. Yep. He knows. Those Nids, they know.
Maybe just ate something that knew.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that's a possibility. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So a lot of them are like, there's ones where you get, the 24-inch threat bubble, 12-inch, I guess, aura on certain abilities, and that's pretty useful, for controlling the area. Overall, they were noting that it's not necessarily the strongest of codexes, but it does have some more troop choices than, not troop necessarily, but more army choices than like the default Marines. You could take a couple extra different things in there. And
it's something to be mindful of, like in terms of like power level and all that, that these codexes are just the beginning.
Yes.
So campaign books and things like that, just like we started to see towards the end of 7th edition, like the Wrath of Magnus series, where like both Space Wolves and Thousand Suns got updated with like this campaign book, like new releases, new models, and things like that. Expect the same thing to start coming out once these codexes are done.
Yeah.
So yeah, like even if you don't have like a super strong codex now, I'm sure the Dark Angels are going to get much stronger when Lionel Johnson shows up.
Oh god, that's going to definitely be fun. But I think Jeremy Jones brings up a good point. Have they mentioned Cypher in the codex at all? Do you know?
I didn't hear much about him. And like in the two or three videos I watched, they didn't really mention Cypher that much. It was more about the stratagems, really, and the different options that you get to take.
Well, hopefully he's at least a footnote.
Yeah, like hopefully he'll have like a stat page and all that sort of stuff. Maybe new point cost and all that. And this is also kind of exciting because Dark Angels, Blood Angels, and I think Demons were all left out of chapter approved because of their release proximity to to the chapter approved book. So it'll be kind of cool to see what the updates are. Like the fact that you're getting more options, you're able to take in those like intercessors and all that Primaris stuff in an official Dark Angels army. I know they had the rules before, but this is now kind of like officially
solidifies
everything
to build your army, not going through 5 books
to do it. And so it's exciting to see. I love the new models. The upgrade kits for the Dark Angels Primaris guys look really slick. So in the new Dark Angels, was it Lieutenant, I think? Yeah, because it's like the little clan pack HQ that's coming out. He's pretty neat looking.
Now I just need to work on painting.
Yeah. Mark, how many armies do you have to paint?
Let's see. Dark Angel, Signor, Circle, Axis for Dust. It's like the list goes on.
So always stuff to do here, especially with the hobbies. But
Trolls soon.
Trolls. Oh yeah, Northkin. All right. So any other Dark Angels information? Any other like? Did they go over war gear, or is it mostly just stratagems and such?
I think there was a little bit on war gear. I don't recall, like, in my memory banks, it doesn't like
nothing stuck
like, oh, that's important. It was a lot about the weirdness of the Space Wolf stratagem and the kind of pairing of that. That was the major thing that I took away from it. But overall, if you like Dark Angels, and they're cool. I love the color scheme especially. It's definitely one to get for sure. And we have it tomorrow, right?
Yeah. So it should be arriving today. So any point during the shipment, we might get a knock on the door. We have to go take in the inventory, which we'll be able to show off the new goodies to you guys. But it officially releases on Saturday.
It's exciting. So what other boxes do we have coming in for the Dark Angels? We have the like Primaris line of them.
So yeah, there's going to be new Primaris Intercessors, Hellblasters, and I'm blanking. I think it's Intercessors and Aggressors. Yeah, I think it's Aggressors as well. An upgrade kit that includes bits for Primaris Marines, which is fantastic.
Get that 2-player starter. Screwed up.
The new Dark Angels Lieutenant. I can't remember his name. I think it's like Zachiel or something like that. It's something around there.
It's an angel name.
Yeah, it's an angel name. Surprise.
Yeah.
New dice. These new dice are really cool. I like what Games Workshop's doing. One, the symbols on the 6 this time, and now with these new dice sets, they're putting in multiple colors of the dice. So like the main block is going to be green, but then there's going to be a white set of dice and then like a black set of dice. I mean, this lets you help like keep track of different rolls and things like that.
Split fire between like different various weapons of the unit.
Exactly.
Like, these are my plasma. These will kill me if I roll a 1 on the white dice.
Or if you're using dice to track wounds, like you can always be like, all right, the white ones are always going to be wound trackers, or XYZ. So it's really cool that they're coming out as well.
Variance is good for the game.
Yeah. So those are the big ones. I mean, obviously the codex and the data cards are coming out as well. So those who like that, I think it's worked out that most of the codexes are like $55 with the codex and the data cards, which is kind of a sweet deal. Definitely a lot better than last edition. So,
Jeremy Jones said something about the bikers and land speeders. I think there's one of each. I don't know if it's a stratagem or if it's one of the other things where they restrict the keyword to bikers. So I don't think it applies to land speeder. So that's one thing to think about, Jeremy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, Dark Angels have always had the Raven Wing and the Death Wing detachment, so I expect to see a little bit of...
I think the Death Wing was not nearly as powerful, for sure.
Yeah, I mean
that's one thing that surprised me. If they actually restricted to bikers. It seems like everything that would be that way would have the Ravenwing keyword.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't really have to go as far as say bikers. You would just say Ravenwing.
Yeah.
And then you would have your land speeders and your bikers.
Yeah, and then there's I think they pare it down even more into like specifically bikers. So
wow.
it's interesting, huh? Yeah, versus the commands, the stratagem where you get to target is all Dark Angels. So interesting, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Looks like it.
Yep.
Was that GW?
No, we got a postal service.
Nice. So Mark, why don't you start telling us a little bit about the 12 days of Christmas for War Machine Hordes?
So it's the 12 factions of Christmas.
Yep.
So what Privateer Press did was, since how they changed the release cycles, there's no longer anthology books, which covers like all the War Machine factions and then all the Hordes factions.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So they did the 12 factions of Christmas to make sure that every single army out there at least got one new release in the year.
Yeah. It's been great. Like I think all the models they've put in the game this year with the 12 factions, it's the first year. Congratulations.
Yeah.
They did a good job.
Yeah.
But no, everything they've put into the game has been not a game breaker, but a game changer.
Yeah. So it included, and it's one of those things. It's not a like lateral release. Like, so not everyone's getting a solo. Some people are getting solo. Some people are getting war beasts. Some people are getting warcasters or warlocks. And it's a great way that what they did was they did kind of like oddball stuff or things that you wouldn't necessarily see pop up in a theme force. So these new releases help expand the army without necessarily committing to like one sort of like theme or another.
Yeah, you can get a warcaster, a light war beast, a heavy war beast.
Yeah.
A dragoon is what
Menoth got.
Yeah, Menoth got. And then you can have he's a warcaster as well.
Yeah. So it's really great. It really definitely expands the game, and it changes how a lot of people are playing with a certain faction. The big one being the Dire Troll Brawler. This is the first time that the trolls have gotten a heavy war beast.
That is not a character.
That's not a character that has a reach weapon, which means like super long range on its melee attacks. And they've been wanting this for probably the last 5 years
since the faction came out.
All right, Mark's a little bit more accurate than I am, being generous. But yeah, so each one of these factions or each one of these releases came out does something new for the faction that they're in. There's now a new solo in Khador, which represents a sub-faction of them called the Black Dragons.
Yes.
So
she's pretty amazing. She gives all the Iron Fang pikemen +1 to hit. She's just a beat stick herself, so she just gets in the middle of the fight.
She doesn't die.
Yeah, I know. She's what, tough and no knockdown or something like that? Or?
Yeah, well, she has the same rule as.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So basically, if she dies, she actually just lays down on the ground.
Yep. Takes a nap.
Yeah, can't be targeted. But if any one of her comrades nearby her dies, it kind of gives her the resolve to stand back up and get back into the fight.
No, comrade! And she stands up and starts just destroying everything again.
Yeah. And then finally, or one of the big ones we want to talk about is Bastion Falk.
Oh,
yeah. Bastion Falk.
Brandon Andrews has a lot to say about him.
Yes. This guy was championed by the winner of War Machine Weekend as being one of the best new releases out there. He is a gun mage, so he basically is a sorcerer that can power the bullets in his gun. However, instead of a pistol like normal, he's bringing a shotgun with him. So he has a magic shotgun.
Got to get them rune-etched art cartridges.
Yeah. So once again, if you like the gun mage motif, which I think is one of War Machine and Hordes' stronger aesthetics, like, I mean, what other games can you go to have these like magic pistoliers?
Yeah.
You know, it's such to me, it's a cool concept that it's kind of like the War Machine and Hordes, like one of signature things.
The answer is old fantasy.
Old fantasy. Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Bastion Falk, he's a character solo. A lot of new things for the faction, and the fact that he's in a gun mage package and bringing a shotgun instead of a pistol or a rifle is kind of neat.
Yeah, I mean, who needs snipe, right?
Yeah.
Thomas asks, does he have a chainsaw?
No chainsaw. So he's actually using the shotgun with both hands.
Yeah, he still has both his hands.
Yes, yeah. For now.
Yeah, for now.
There's always
oh god, yeah, that could be an alternate sculpt that they release.
Or like there could be a Bastion Falk 2 that comes out that is missing a hand and gets replaced with a mechanical hand or a chainsaw hand.
That is one thing though. I think Full Metal Alchemist in the form of like automail is kind of a thing in this universe.
Yes.
Yeah, you can have your appendages replaced by.
Yeah, there's a lot of people out there with mechanical hands or legs. And with the War Machine Horde setting, any of these characters can progress in the story, and it'll be reflected in a new model for them coming out the line. So I think with how probably popular this character is going to be, you might see a chainsaw wielding Bastion Falk in the future. Yeah.
So really, the only way to truly fix your arm is to be a really powerful time wizard and just reverse time to when you had both your arms.
Yeah, that's also true. Yeah, but yeah, so this release is super exciting for all the War Machine Hordes players because everyone gets something. Me as a Minions player, I got the Pharaoh Valkyries, so we now have our own fat singing pig ladies with righteous hammers and shield cannons. So they were smart enough to put a gun in their shield, so while they're blocking, they can just blow you away as well. So yeah, like every faction gets something. So it's a really exciting time. I've seen a lot of people pick up these models and they're trying new lists with them, which is really, really cool to see.
So Retribution of Syra, which is the elf faction of the game, they got flying light warjacks.
Yeah. So
that's cool.
So the elves have anti-grav technology, and they turned this one up to 11. And so instead of just hovering off the ground, it's actually flying through the air. What's crazy is like they gave this guy some pretty powerful. They gave them two. They gave one really good shooting, and they gave one like still good shooting, but also a pretty strong, really strong weapon on it too. So it just flies around and just destroys things. For a light warjack, it's definitely worth its points.
Yeah.
So I've heard Matt Blaisdell sing its praises.
Can you show that to us?
Yeah, it's this one here, and so I think it has the harpy and the siren. Yeah. The harpy.
You'll have to forgive Privateer Press's packaging.
Yeah,
they still don't put pictures, other stuff in the blisters. But yeah, you can go to privateerpress.com and see all the models in a 3D spin around. So it's really cool to kind of look at the.
I can show the folks. What's that one called?
It is the Retribution Harpy.
We're gonna take a look.
Yeah, so Jeremy, most factions just got one kit. Retribution was the only exception because they basically got a new chassis for light warjacks, so they got two individual blisters.
Let's see, what's another good one to go? We got Bastion Falk. So how much do you know much about Agrimony?
So Agrimony is a witch who died and her soul got put into a bottle. And Rengrave, the captain of the Ghost Fleet, has been carrying it around for the last decade or so, and finally dropped it, and the ghost has popped out. And so now she's running around the battlefield, causing all sorts of amok. Me as a Minions player really likes this rule. She has one called Dark Waters, and she makes a 5-inch AOE of water, like just around her.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. Like, I was like train editing features and all that. And she has some other benefits for the pirates and all that, but she's like one of those pirate pieces, and it's a nice, cool character solo. The figure looks great. I mean, it's this
it's coming out of the bottle.
Yeah. So it's really neat.
She hit the bottle hard, didn't she?
But yeah, so all these factions are varied. Like the new Scorn Warlock, Primus Jalam.
Oh, he's good.
Yeah, he does something wildly different than the rest of the Scorn Warlocks. He's the first kind of
shooty.
Yeah, ranged Warlock for Scorn, and he plays very differently than all the other kind of shooty Warcasters and Warlocks.
Because he gets to pick a target. He's got prey. He has Weapon Master?
He has Weapon Master and Grievous Wounds.
Oh, yeah. No, he'll pick out a target and he'll just shoot it to death. And it's really hard to avoid him. He's fast. He's got all the Warcaster protections, Warlock protections, on top of tough. And then he just basically says, your base size also depends how much stronger I am at shooting.
Yeah.
So the bigger you are, the harder you will fall.
Yeah, I mean, all these guys are really cool. I wish we could we'll have to do a video later on talking about all of these guys in a little bit more depth, especially for all the War Machine fans, because once again, it's a bunch of new options to each faction. We're gonna go from here and we're gonna start moving into the other weekly releases that we've got in, and so that we have enough time to talk about the events and things like that coming in. One of the big things that came out this week is going to be the expansion to Scythe. I know a lot of people have been looking forward to this. We've had a lot of people playing Scythe. We've sold through, I don't know how many restocks of the base game. So this is kind of a neat expansion. And I was lucky enough to get a peek on what's inside the box.
What's in the box?
Flip it around. Those little plastic airships are phenomenal. They feel pretty good. Like, they're like a good size. They look great, good detail. I really kind of want to steal a couple of them just to paint up for like an RPG that I'm thinking about running with flying airships. So yeah, the Wind Gambit is what it's called. It is probably,
I think it's not like that. It's not the Wind Gambit.
It's probably the Wind Gambit.
Yeah, probably.
I don't have too many details about what it actually brings to Scythe because we haven't had it in long enough for me to actually read. Yeah. But the fact that it adds in aerial combat, which I know is definitely new to it, and expansions and things like that.
At least in my playthrough of Scythe, it seems that Scythe is more of a kind of like you control your resources, but it's a Cold War. Like you have to build up forces, but you don't want to use it because you're punished for using it.
Yeah.
Well, one faction does get a bonus for being aggressive,
and that makes sense. Like so, if you're not constantly making sure everyone doesn't think that you're the easy target, then you're the easy target, and they're going to go after you. Yeah. So, but yeah, the Scythe game has been insanely popular. The aesthetic of it is great. This kind of steampunky World War esque ships and vehicles and walkers and all that. And how long would you say the Scythe game plays, like the original base game?
I'd say an hour to an hour and a half. Yeah, it's not bad. I will say I enjoy it. Like a lot of people are doing it, and it's always something that interests me, is when you take a point in human history and you say, well, all right, what if the technology was like the technology back then, but advanced like 50 or 100 years? It was like, there's these old looking ships, but they fly.
Yeah.
Like, that's cool. That's actually really cool. And then you can usually go and explain it, like Dust. They say, like, this stuff works this way because they found alien tech, but they applied it to their technology.
Right.
So that's what I like about it. Just period pieces that have, like, weird new technology that even we don't have.
Yeah.
So, like, we don't have ships that do that.
Yeah.
Like, that's a tanker that floats.
I want a tanker that floats. I think that would be kind of cool. So the next new release we're going to have is going to be the Gloomhaven removable stickers. So for all those who are lucky enough to have Gloomhaven right now and aren't waiting for a restock, we have this removable sticker sheet. It's a great way to keep track of your legacy game.
Yep. It really lets you reset your legacy game. So for those of you who have already added the stickers, hopefully you can find a way to really take them off pretty easily. I'm sure there's means to. It'll just destroy the stickers. But if you'd like a way to reset your game, whenever you have like maybe someone who's new and wants to enjoy the original experience, you can always just use these stickers for your next playthrough,
which is great.
Or if you make a mistake.
this whole legacy game thing, like this is a relatively new phenomenon for board gaming, because people ask for persistence, and it's one of those things where video games were made after board games, and now board games are taking some of the elements that video games have that people enjoy about video games and incorporating back into them. Yeah. And this legacy game genre is one of those features. So a little bit of learning with it. So removable stickers are a definite plus for a game that you might want to reset or have like a new party with without having to buy new sheets or stickers and things like that.
And what's also interesting is roguelikes are basically board games if you think about it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm sure there could be a lengthy thesis talked about the comparison of, like, board games imitating video games and video games imitating board games.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Maybe that'll be a topic for David's upcoming blog that I'm now announcing to make him do a blog.
Do it, David.
Oh, yeah. Turn-based games are basically board games for video games.
Yeah. So another new release that people will probably be excited about, especially if you play Pathfinder or any D&D, we have the Pawn Collection for traps and treasure. Thanks. Yes. Yeah. So this is basically all the stuff that you need to like do dungeons or any sort of adventure where you want like props for a room. So like it'll have traps, treasure vaults, bookcases, all this sort of stuff. Great for setting any sort of RPG scene that you have without having to draw on like one of those wet erase boards. Yep. Not all of us are super great artists, so it's nice to have like representations on the board to help get people immersed in the game.
Yep, you can do anything from furniture, objectives. There's altars of good, evil.
Yeah, it's great. We only have a couple of those left, so definitely, guys, if you're interested, take a look at it. This one I'm excited about because I didn't know this was coming, but it is. Mark, you want to show it up? Valerian, the Alpha Missions. So this is based off the movie, which was based off the French comic. Valerian. So it's a new board game by Ultra Pro. It features the artwork from the movies and all that. So if you guys like Luc Besson and you guys like that movie, I actually really enjoyed that movie, and I can probably defend it relatively well on internet conversations. So it's an exciting board game. Once again, we have a limited amount in there, so if you guys are interested in it, look up Valerian, the Alpha Missions, and come in and pick one up. So yeah,
nice.
Yeah. Finally, the final. Well, so actually, we have a couple more new releases to talk about, but Legends of the Five Rings. Is this week 5 or 6? Do you remember?
I think it's one more after.
Yeah, I think there's one more. There's one more of the 6 weeks of Legends of the Five Rings. So this is yet another expansion to bring people up to, or bring Legends of the Five Rings to have a little bit more diversity outside of the box set.
Yeah.
This is the first time that they've kind of like shotgun releases like this.
I think it was to bring each clan up to date.
Yeah, exactly. Because when you come out with a box set that has releases for, 7 clans, the pool of faction cards are going to be relatively small just because of logistics. So having these 6 packs come out in 6 weeks, it's a great way to increase diversity and increase people's ability to kind of make the deck that they want to with the clan they want to. So definitely it's a great pickup. Secondly, the other big release we have is Netrunner 2nd Edition. I'm going to go grab the box real quick, Mark.
All right, yeah.
So this is the revised core set.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
This is something that, excuse me, guys. This is something that people who have been playing Netrunner have been asking for a long time. It's basically an updated way for new players to get into Netrunner.
All right, yeah. I know. I've talked to Corey Hawkman.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, so this game has been out for years.
Yeah.
A lot has been released. How do I even get into it anymore? Like, I will not have this massive collection behind me, and if I wanted to buy it, I would have to throw like $200 down immediately to have every card, if it's even available.
Exactly.
And this basically answers that question. You now have Netrunner.
Yeah, the updated core set.
Yep.
So what this does is just basically helps people get back up to speed. What is it? David said we got 50 copies in, and we sold the first 30 on the release day super quick.
Yeah.
So if you guys are interested in it, we have a lot of people, pretty much a lot of the folks who are playing the LCGs like Legend of the Five Rings and all that, started with Netrunner. So this new revised core set is kind of prompting a resurgence in the game, which I believe was the intention of the new core set. So it's now easier than ever. So if you guys like the cyberpunk aesthetic, or maybe Legends of the Five Rings isn't for you and you want another LCG, check out Netrunner. And it's the time to get in now, especially with this. They do start rotating packs out, so it's easier. It's like getting into standard now. It's you buy this core set, and then you can pick up some of the most recent packs, and then you're good to go. You can start playing in tournaments and events and all that. So it's really exciting to see. That is probably one of I'm really glad that these LCGs are getting attention from Fantasy Flight Game. Like, they're not like one and done, right? It's not they're going to release it and be like, we got our money from the Netrunner folks, we're going to move on to the next game. No, it's continued support. It's trying to build back a community that probably felt a little overwhelmed by the amount of releases. So definitely check it out.
Nice.
And so one of the other new releases we got in, which we sold out super quickly, but hopefully we're going to get a restock, is Charterstone. Once again, it's another legacy game.
We only had a few copies. Are they gone already?
Went super quick. It's a village building game. The artwork and aesthetics is great.
Very much like Santorini.
Yeah, it looks like probably same artist as Santorini or something. I need to check that because I don't want to like credit someone who doesn't deserve it. But it's another legacy game, which we should get back in stock relatively soon. Yeah. We got new expansions for Hero Realms, which is a deck building game. And so Hero Realms was originally like a 4-person free-for-all combat game where you built your deck and you guys fought against each other. What they're doing now is they're taking this like fantasy world 4-person free-for-all and giving you guys bad guys.
Yep.
So
it's like a World of Warcraft raid.
Exactly. Yeah. So and now there's 3 different PvE expansions. Nice. There's a campaign box that just came out, which I believe we still have 1 or 2 copies left. And then there's 2 boss decks. So you can play the campaign, which is super great, and you can have it last a long time to play through all the events and things like that. Or you guys can pick up a boss deck and kind of do a boss raid more or less like in an hour or so.
And for those of you who might be curious, White Wizard, White Wizard is the way they typically do it is there's a deck to draw from, and what the raid will do is they'll pick off either the top card of the deck or some other means of doing it, and they'll look at basically what faction that card is from.
Yes.
And it'll do a certain effect. So you'll have random effects that the boss will do each turn based on what card it picks off the top.
Yeah. So Mark makes a great point. These PvE decks, like when you're playing against a boss or something like that, they have built-in AI, more or less. Like no one has to play the boss. The boss plays itself. It just gives you a prompt like, beginning of the turn, do X, and then Y happens.
Yeah.
And then the players themselves have to deal with it. And it can be a relatively easy puzzle to figure out, or it can be pretty complicated and hard to defeat.
Yeah.
So it's definitely something I like because it can take all skill levels. And the Hero Realms is a nice compact game. It's easy to pick up. It's actually a great Christmas gift, especially if someone's looking for like a small board game, or if you're looking for like a white elephant gift, get them something from White Wizard.
Yeah. One thing I actually recently discussed is that board games are becoming more and more portable. I would say, it's something you can take with you to like a Waffle House at 2 a.m. and be like, all right, we're gonna eat our waffle and we're gonna break out, this small deck of cards that I can bring with me and we can just play with. It's weird that there's now a niche market for portable games.
Yeah, and so a lot of these companies are being more cognizant in their box design. So when you crack open a new board game, they're going to have all the storage solutions in the box itself, which is really smart.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. I mean, long gone are the days where they cram as much as they can into the smallest package possible.
What you talking about? Gloomhaven's right there.
So most companies do this, but not all of them. Yeah. It's much easier to port these board games around, and there's also the whole there is a genre of portable casual games. Great games like Star Realms, Hero Realms are good ones. Great examples. Kittens in a Blender.
Yeah,
love it. Exploding Kittens. Is another great one
Love
to do.
Love Letter is another one.
Yeah, Love Letter. Any of the dice games like Dicey Goblins or
What's the dinosaur one we played?
Oh,
Dragon Con?
Yeah. Wasn't it like Robots versus Dinosaurs or something like that?
No, you had your T-Rex, Stegosaurus, and something else, and
it was like rolling a cup. I think it's basically the same thing as Zombie Dice, which I believe Zombie Dice has been out of print for a while. Yeah,
really?
I
hadn't even thought about it for a while.
Yeah, but anyways, but there's all these great portable games which are great holiday gifts. Especially if you're bringing them to people who aren't necessarily board gamers, because it's a great thing. You're all sitting around watching Christmas movies, or you're waiting for your dinner to finish, and you can bust out a game and play it in 30 to 40 minutes and be great. And it's a good way to get people interested in the board games. And it's another good thing, small kids or family members that you want to interact with, and maybe get them into more detailed board games because you feel like it's something they would enjoy. Start small, move big, right? It's Coup. Thank you, Thomas. Coup is a great game. And a lot of these games that are light on rules but heavy on social interactions, Coup, are once again another great way to get new players in, because you don't want to bog someone down with a 30-minute explanation on how this game works. It kills it. I can guarantee you try bringing some crunchy board game, be like, well, each person starts with X, Y, Z, and you have to spend it on this, but not that.
Yeah.
There's
a second phase for that.
They're done.
Yeah.
So pick light, small, fun board games. things that can be played in 30 to 40 minutes because the investment is small. And if you guys really have a lot of fun, play it again, right? So a lot of stuff has replayability, especially things like the card games because, you'll randomize the deck. And Love Letter and Coup, the social aspect can really drive that. So.
David says someone should get me to place Shadespire now that my Sepulchral Guard are built.
So with that, David, we're having a group coming up on Thursdays to play Shadespire here at the store. It's great guys. I was able to talk with them last night. They're all new to hobby, period. Yeah. They're like, we're normally board gamers, but we really like Shadespire, and this is making us get into the miniature building and painting aspect. So they came in, they've been playing Shadespire up here for like a week or two now. And so they all last night bought paints and brushes and all that. And they're looking to get started painting their forces. And they might be expanding into more Age of Sigmar models or XYZ from there. But they are dedicated Shadespire people.
That's awesome. Talk about a bridge.
Yeah, no.
Board games to the tabletop.
This is what Games Workshop wanted to do with Shadespire. And it's intention is not always result, right?
Yeah.
But it's working, right?
Yeah.
We are having a difficult time keeping Shadespire in stock here at the store. We're blowing through the armies, the core boxes, all that sort of stuff. If you guys haven't given it a shot,
definitely.
Come in, give it a go. Do we still have the demo set?
We do.
I see it right over there. Yeah, come in, give the demo set a chance. I was earlier on this week talking with Tom May. He posted up someone modded a Sylvaneth list to replace the Steelheart's champions.
Really?
So he got a Revenant and 2 Dryads, and he modded their weapons to resemble the Steelheart's Legion from Shadespire. And so and he's just using that deck as a order deck. So it makes sense because right now there's order, destruction, death, chaos all in the game. So people are starting to be like, well, I want to play Seraphon. So I'm thinking about coming in and modding some Kroxigor and some Saurus and replacing the Steelhearts with that so I can play my guys and still have keep the theme that I want, but still get to play Shadespire because I really want to play Shadespire.
What's neat is it's a board game-esque with the miniatures, but you level up your characters based on certain actions that have happened. For example, when the Stormcast block an attack, that basically triggers their level up. But when, for example, the Khorne guys, if they lose enough guys, they're like, enough blood has been shed, and then everybody flips over.
So it's all unique and interesting mechanics, right? So they have the 4 main alliances done, and we've seen some other war bands that should be coming out. I know Fire Slayers and Skaven are slated to come out at some point in the future. But until your faction gets out, be creative. Do your own. Like I said, I'm interested in taking the Steelhearts and turning them into Seraphon. I know, Mark, you play Ironjaw, so you're set with the Orc boys.
Yeah, no, they're the ones.
And then the new Sepulchral Guard are just
finish painting too.
Yeah, gorgeous. Add it to the list.
Yeah, add it to the list.
That's something we need to do is a paint list. Hang it up. We haven't had the project board in a while. We need to put that back up.
We do need to.
But
so
yeah,
I can remind myself of my terrible tasks ahead.
Exactly. So yeah, it's something to check out, guys. It's if you're interested in doing something fantasy related and you don't want to take the full plunge into Age of Sigmar, start with Shadespire. It's a low investment. It's an easy buy-in. You just buy the core box and then you're good. You don't have to buy any more than that if you don't want to.
What's neat is you still have the setup like you would a normal tabletop game where it's okay, we just fill up the board. Each person puts a tile down and then the terrain is divvied up as well. And then you get basically preset locations around the board. So you're not just here's my brick of guys that moves forward. It's I can have 2 guys here, but I have no room, so I have to set this guy further up.
Yeah.
So there is no just play 100% defensive. It's where do I need to put these guys to keep them safe? Which guys are better at being aggressive? And you get to place them according to their skills, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. So come in. We have the Shadespire stuff. Get a demo. Try it out. Get David Finn to play Shadespire, which would be. David, if David wasn't out sick today, he was going to be in here playing games this afternoon. But unfortunately, can't stop the illness. But yeah, with that, talking about David, we here at Giga-Bites are going to be doing a tournament organizer support program that David is trying to now kickstart from his home while he's out, because he won't ever stop working.
Can't stop, won't stop.
So we are looking for people to champion certain games. We have a good volunteer list already, but there's still plenty of games out there that we need people to come in and support in the store.
Yeah.
And what a lot of that means is scheduling an event and being here for that event and trying to promote the game. One of the big things that we talk about, like, I know I probably bring it up at least once a month on these rambles, but if you are consistent with showing up with a game, you can get a community to grow.
Yep.
And that's what we're looking for with these tournament organizers, is being consistent and being a good person to come to for information and community options, right?
Yeah. I'll give you an example, and I'll basically use myself. Dust with Jim.
Yep.
So Jim gave me a demo a while ago, and I played it. I was like, nah, this game isn't for me. And then he gave me a demo a second time, but this time he's like, oh, what would you be interested in? It's like, oh, lasers. Let's just make as many lasers as I can. So I played a game with lasers. I lost. But it was a lot funner. And so then I played against John and somehow pulled a victory out of my butt. And I was like, all right, no, this game has won me over. So it went from being like, never going to play Dust, played my demo, didn't like it, to trying it again, and then trying it again, and then trying it again. And eventually I was like, you know what? I'm going to start my own army now.
Yeah. And so what we're looking for with this TO program is the consistency and to be able to identify with a person to find out what they want from a game, right? Like, it's one thing to give someone a demo and be kind of cold about it, but we need someone who's going to be welcoming and embrace people with different interests and things like that. Like, it's a big part of going to be a big part of the TO program itself. So yeah, me and David will be posting more information about the tournament organizers program as we develop it. We already have a list, but check it out. It's on the Giga-Bites Marietta tabletop group. We're looking for more volunteers for assorted games, or if for some reason you see a game that you really like that already has a TO, it's time to start. Like ask them if they want any help. Like if it helps share the burden to have multiple people in one game, because I know we need more than one person for 40K.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, definitely check it out. I'd hope to see a lot of people out there, and we're going to do what we can to support the community that grows from this. So, tournament organizers, this is your call to arms, more or less.
And yeah, when you are a TO, you get the resources of the staff, and you get me for marketing, resources, so that you can make sure that we get the word out to as many people as possible, and that way it's less work on the end. You don't have to go about like making up all these ideas for videos to advertise to people.
We'll do it.
We do this so often that we'll just make sure that you're there. As long as you're there to play the game on that day, we can get people there.
Yeah. Like I've been in talks with Ross Zimmerman for the last couple of weeks about getting a Frostgrave campaign going in the new year.
Be cool.
And I know, or excuse me, I think we're going to use the Ghost Archipelago. Oh my God.
Ghost Archipelago.
Thank you. We're going to get that going. I'm really excited about it. I actually ordered some off-brand snake models from Shadows of Brimstone.
Really?
Yeah. So they have this whole like Aztec jungle expansion.
That's right.
That has dinosaurs and snake men.
Wait, was it not El Dorado?
No, it is Shadows of Brimstone, like the board game. So they had some snake men. I ordered them in. So I'm going to be building probably a snake man warband for my Ghost Archipelago. Did I say it right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Group. So yeah, check it out. And I'm going to be helping Ross. I'm going to be making the groups. I'm going to be advertising. I'm going to try to get people in here. But it'll be up to Ross to make sure that we get, that we have someone here to run it in case, it's on my off day, or, I'm not able to do it, or I'm working, right?
Yeah, So one of the things that is always really hindered, like, employees trying to grow a group is just the fact that, like, as soon as we try to get to a table, we're pulled off somewhere else, and then the person like we're trying to play with has to wait 15 minutes while we have to help someone else do something because it's our job.
And it's one of those things where we love playing games. We wouldn't be working here if we didn't love games. It's just unfortunately, Giga-Bites is so big right now that, like, physically large, that we have to move around the store and shuffle around. We have a full kitchen, staff, all that sort of stuff. So having these tournament organizers helps us relieve that. So
Yeah.
So with other folks organizing it, maybe eventually, like when we get the free time, we can play games and do all that and embrace the community. But it'll be my job and Mark's job to make sure that we advertise and make sure that you have the support you need to get that group going.
You were also viewed as what is the word? Not independent, so to speak. So, you know, people are like, oh, they're trying to push this game because they're playing it.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. So it's one of those things where, like, we want to show new people of this game that it's not just the store trying to sell you stuff, but that there is a community that wants to be here and wants to play. So yeah, it's definitely something to check out. We're going to have a couple of new things starting the new year. We're having a Dust League beginning, so it's going to be slow grow.
So prepare to be hit by lasers.
So Mark will only speak German during his games with you. But yeah, so Jim Godin is starting a Dust League. Robert Ashwell is starting a German league for War Machine and Hordes, which I'm really excited about, especially with all the new Gator releases. Ross Zimmerman is going to be doing the Frostgrave group. So we have a lot of stuff going in the new year, and I know Rob Bristow is starting something for 40K. He's been working on this for a while, coming up with new ideas, kind of expanding what he's done before, improving what he's done before. So 40K, Frostgrave, War Machine and Hordes, Dust, we're all coming out. Malign Portents for Age of Sigmar is also going to be at the new year. So it is going to be another global event for Age of Sigmar. Just the same way as the Fate of Connor was.
Yeah. The 3 cities at the beginning of the year. I forgot the name of the campaign, though.
Which one?
The Age of Sigmar one.
Oh, yeah.
But they had 3 major cities that would...
it was like in the Realm of Life, right? Or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so expect all that sort of stuff to be in the new year. It's going to be... 2018 is going to be a great year for gaming, regardless of the system you play.
Yeah.
So expect more news from that from us probably towards the new year as we work out this TO program and make sure that everything's running properly.
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited to see these games grow.
Yeah. And speaking of events, we have the Toys for Tots charity running all weekend. So all these events are going to benefit you to bring in a toy to donate to charity, whether it's removing entry fee or giving you some sort of bonus. I don't know what Rob worked out for in the Friday Night Fights for tonight, but I know he incorporated the Toys for Tots with that. And then finally, we have the 40K 1,200 point tournament this Sunday. It's going to be really exciting. You get more chances into raffles the more you donate with that. So keep that in mind. A new unwrapped toy
that does not resemble a weapon.
That does not resemble a realistic weapon. And we usually ask for, Toys for Tots usually ask for toys usable to up to the age of 12.
Yeah.
So like nothing more complicated than that, right? Like you don't want to drop some sort of like die cast model on a kid, be like, "Merry Christmas, 5-year-old, assemble this." Assemble this model. But yeah, so we have that going on all weekend. I'm personally excited for the Steamroller. I'm actually able to run a tournament for once, which is great. And we got a lot of prize support. Privateer Press was super generous. The company themselves mailed us a lot of exclusives and support for this tournament. So we have limited edition models, we have limited edition pins, some patches, and some board games all sent to us from Privateer Press. I was able to design and then have David Kelly print out new tokens. So we're going to be giving out token sets to those people participating in the tournament. And then I'll also have other holiday rewards. I still have a reward for those who are most festive for this tournament. So I'm hoping I get some caroling or people dressed up as Santa or, whatever. But I'm really excited for it. Like I said, it's one of the few times I get to run a tournament, so I'm trying to go all out and making sure everyone has a great time and everything's well supported. So yeah.
That's awesome. And then the charity tournament for 40Ks on Sunday.
Yes, charity tournaments for 40Ks on Sunday. We are opening early that day for the tournament, so don't worry if the sign says we open at noon. We're going to have people, I think, in here as early as 9 or 10. Check the tournament times. We will have the staff there, coffee brewed, ready to go. Get you guys all energized and amped for this tournament. It's 1,200 points. It's for charity. I know we're raffling off that $100 paint board that we have made by Russ Sick, He's the guy who does the like hills and all the paint stands and things like that you've seen here in the store for a while. We're raffling off the big one. So this is great for any table or hobbyist. Like, you know, like you'll be able to sort all of your paints. There's
all your brushes.
Yeah, they're super durable, which I like. And the fact that they have like the grip on them too means that you're not going to slide them around. It's not going to be something you're going to have to fiddle with as well. So
it's got the weight and the friction to keep it on your table where you set it.
Exactly. So it's a great way to organize your paints. I know David picked up one for himself, a smaller one, but it was nice to see that sort of thing. Like I've been carrying the paint bags with me. The problem that I have with the paint bags is like it's 3 tiers.
Yeah.
And normally,
and they've also changed the sizes over the years.
And normally, but I'll only pick from like the top foam tray regardless, unless I really need to go digging in the paint bag, which is not super great for painting. But that being said, it does help me limit my palette so I can experiment with like, you know, less used paints if they're setting up on top. But yeah, this new paintboard that we're raffling off is really cool. It'll be a great holiday gift, even if you're not a big painter. Like, give it to a painter that is. But yeah, come check out these charity tournaments. I really wanted to do well. I really want, you know, kids in need to have a good holiday. So even if you're not playing the tournaments, you can come in and drop off here. We are a donation center. You don't have to participate in the tournament to participate in the charity. Yeah. So definitely something to keep in mind. I hope to see a lot of people out for these 3 events. 40K and War Machine players, you know, open your hearts, bring some toys, and we'll be good.
Bring toys for yours, or bring your toys and then toys for the kids.
Yes, yeah. I know, like, I'm not playing in the tournaments, but I picked up some toys to donate. So yeah, hopefully it's great. And the last thing that I kind of want to talk about, because we're getting close to the end, is the new Project Archeon. Mark cocked his head, so he hasn't seen it. So we have a Forge World Imperial Knight Archeon.
Oh, that's what it's called, an Archeon?
The one that we got in, and it is going to the first prize winner of our next Ard Boys tournament. And so this is the classic Games Workshop Ard Boys. So bring your best list, and whoever takes first place in the tournament will take this Imperial Knight. I'm excited because generally as a store, we don't run super competitive events.
Yeah, but this is one.
Yeah, this is one. And, you know, we might only do 1 or 2 a year, but the prize is well worth it. So bring your best list. I hope to see a lot of people out there. I want it to be a lot of fun. It's going to be really competitive. And the more people we have doing it, maybe the more times we do it. So, you know, like it's one of those things that we need your support to show us if this is something. It's something that you want.
Do we continue this? Is it?
You can play even if you don't have like what you think of as the most competitive list in the world. Especially in 8th edition, it's not. You know, unless you really poorly build your list, there's all kinds of ways to. You don't have to be a wonderful Warzone Atlanta like competitive list to be able to play.
With chapter approved, you're going to see more of that.
By the way, David wanted to correct my pronunciation. It looks like it's Acheron.
Acheron. I was like, Archeon. Why would they name it after that guy?
Yeah, no, this is the herald of the 4 Chaos Gods.
Yeah.
Project Archeon. No, so Acheron. What am I doing? Acheron? Yeah, so that's something that we're going to be trying to do more of, is streaming top table from our tournaments, since we now have this great setup here at the store. It's going to be something I'm going to try to do all day tomorrow with the War Machine and Hordes tournament, is stream top table. So US community, if you guys are interested in these like competitive events and watching games, once again, comment on the streams, share the streams, let us know that it's something that you want to build and grow. Because I personally want more bat reps out there with Giga-Bites customers. So yeah. Oh, and if you guys are ever interested in streaming something that we aren't running an event for that day, and let us know. Like multiple times Jamie has come in and be like, oh, I want to stream my casual Armada game. It's like, absolutely. Let's get that running. Shows off the community and the game itself. So, yeah.
So if you're in for a casual game and you see the table with the camera is empty, just ask for us to set up and we'll stream your game.
Yeah.
People are always happy to watch.
Absolutely. So yeah, it's about that time, guys. It's about noon o'clock. So we are going to take off, but we hope to see you this weekend.
Yeah.
So until then, goodbye.
Oh, and the final thing before we leave out, new brother Steve on Sunday.
Yes,
oh wow, that's been a while. I was actually wondering.
Yeah.
Did you ever finish that ad with Mr. Jim?
Almost. It's like 1,000+ frames. I have to keyframe manually. So, for those of you who know video editing, it's a lot of work. But
5 minutes.
Yeah.
5 minutes. Okay.
We'll see that video Monday then, right?
Hopefully by the new year for that one. But it's a fun one for sure.
All right,
Well,
awesome.
cool. All right, guys.
Yep.
Well, thanks again for stopping by and chatting with us during the stream. We'll see you all next week.
Yep.
Bye.
See ya.
Before then.
Yeah.
All right, goodbye.